friends, it's Valerie. Welcome back to this week's What's for Dinner. If you're new here, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family. And don't forget to leave a like or a comment down below. It really does help my channel. I've got 3 inspirational meals for you again this week, and I hope that you enjoy them as much as we did. So let's just get started. This first recipe is a pesto pasta with chicken sausage. This recipe is something I just kind of threw together, didn't really go off any type of recipe, just kind of was using up some things that I had. So I needed to use up some zucchini, so I just went ahead and diced up 2 zucchinis into some smaller bite-sized pieces. And then I had picked up these chicken sausages the other day. They're spinach and feta flavored. They're actually really good. So I cut those into like just some rounds and kind of thin, because if you know me by now, you know that I like any of my sausages or things like that nice and browned when frying them up. So the smaller the piece, then the more every end is going to be nice and crispy and browned. So yeah, just go ahead and chop that up. And then to a skillet, I've added some olive oil, and I'm going to go ahead and add in that zucchini, kind of toss it a little bit to get coated with that oil. I'm going to season it with just some salt and pepper, as well as some garlic powder. You can of course season this with whatever seasonings you like, and I'm just going to go ahead and give that another stir just to get all those seasonings mixed onto all that zucchini. And I'm going to saute this. At this point, it's your preference if you like it softer or more like tender crisp like I do. Just go ahead and continue to cook that to your preference. And then I removed that from the skillet, and I've added in those chicken sausages, and I'm just going to brown those to my liking. And same for you, just go ahead and cook them to your liking. You may need to add a little extra oil like I did with some spray. And I went ahead and I'm just boiling up about 10 to 12 ounces of that penne pasta in some very salted water. And now I'm adding my zucchini back into that skillet with the chicken sausage, and I'll add in my drained pasta. And I actually reserved a cup of my pasta water. I typically always reserve some, so I'm using this Filippo Barrio pesto, and I really like this brand, and a little bit of that pasta water. And I'm just kind of testing out at first like how much I might have wanted of that pesto. I ended up using the whole jar. It is a small jar though, so if you have a very large jar, just add to your liking, and taste as you go. Add some pasta water to help spread that out. And I just took some Parmesan cheese that I had and I grated it up, and I am just adding that in. This is to preference, maybe about a quarter cup's worth of that. And that was dinner. I made some garlic toast on some everything bagel bread, and it was super tasty. This whole meal was probably my favorite meal of the week. It was really good. I love anything with zucchini, but with that pesto and that chicken sausage was really good. This next meal is garlic bread meatball subs. To start off, I'm just taking a jar of this Prego roasted garlic and Parmesan sauce. This is a 24-ounce jar, and I'm just putting that in the bottom of my pan here. I'm gonna heat that up. Then I'm adding in these Angus beef meatballs. I really like these meatballs a lot. I just added the whole bag. Of course, you can do multiple bags or just as many as you need. That worked for that amount of sauce though. And then you'll need some French hoagie rolls. Of course, you could do this on any other roll that you prefer. This is just something I really like for a meatball sub. But I'm going to make these garlic bread. So I'm kind of just using my butter knife to kind of break the bread open at the bottom so I can make them flat, because I don't want them to burn when they're in the oven, like in some spots. But I'm not cutting through the bread because I want to still have them as a sandwich. So I'm taking some spreadable butter here, and I'm just putting that all on the surface of all 3 of my breads here. You're just going to go ahead and spread that out like you make any garlic bread. You can use as much, I guess, butter as you like, but of course the more butter that you use, you could end up with a soggier bread. I don't prefer that, but I do want some nice tasty butter, of course. So just spread that across all of your breads. And then I'm just using garlic powder for this, so I'm going to go ahead and just put garlic powder all over, as much as I like, which is to cover pretty much the whole surface, because I love the way it tastes. But you can also use fresh garlic. You could have melted butter with garlic and then just basted it on this bread. That would have worked as well. But here I wanted it simple. I'm trying to keep everything this past week very simple. We've had a lot going on. with my birthday and just things we've been doing, activities. My boyfriend had 5 days of vacation, and yeah, so I'm also adding some dried parsley flakes on top of that garlic, and I'm taking my knife here and just spreading that, because I always feel like if you cook it with it on top, it kind of burns in a weird gross way. Like the garlic powder doesn't taste good, but if I just kind of mix it into that butter, it tastes way better. And then I just got this idea that I had Parmesan cheese, so why not, let's just put some of that on top. So just sprinkle to your liking. That was pretty much my goal here. Again, no recipes really for this. I just was thinking it off the top of my head, and it sounded good. It sounded really good. I was like wanting meatball subs, but I wanted it to be a little something different, and this was definitely a hit. So I went ahead and baked those at about 425 degrees for about 4 minutes, and then I pulled them out, and I'm just putting my meatballs across. Put as many fit or as you want on top of your sandwich there. Again, pour as much sauce as you like. I don't like it too saucy. I like a nice like meatball to, bread ratio without being too overly saucy. But I do like some sauce, so I just ladle a little on top of there. And then I'm just covering this with some mozzarella cheese. I'm just using this bagged kind because it's what I have. And just putting that all over on top of those meatballs. I even put some on the other side. This is also going to help that other side from browning. Maybe a little too much because it's going to have another new barrier to kind of melt. So just putting that there, and then just going to go ahead and put that back in the oven for about 2 more minutes, just until that cheese is nice and melted. And I know that I said that pesto chicken sausage pasta was my favorite for the week. And it was definitely really, really good. I loved it. But I don't know if it was just that I was craving this or what, but these were outstanding. Like, they were so, so good. Like, I want it again. And so I'd have to say it's definitely a high contender for top 2 meals of the week. And both something that I will be making from now on. And I make meatball subs, but I'm definitely only going to be making them garlic bread meatball subs from now on, because that really added so much extra flavor and just crunchiness. They were really, really tasty, and I just served those with some tater tots on the side. This last meal is Southwestern Alfredo pasta. Now I'm taking my large pot here over medium heat, and I added in you're supposed to add in a tablespoon of olive oil. I definitely went heavy, and it was more like 2 tablespoons. Wasn't trying to do that. Now I'm adding in 1 red pepper that I chopped up into some larger dice there. And then I'm adding in a 4-ounce can of diced green chilies. The recipe calls for 3.4 ounces, but my can came in 4 ounces, and I'm sure most of yours do as well. So I added the whole can in, and I'm just going to go ahead and let that cook until the peppers are soft, and then I removed that from the pan. And now I'm just brought that same pot to boil with some water, and salted water at that, for the pasta. And I went ahead and added in 2 cups of dry penne and boiled it just till it was al dente. And then I drained it, and now to the same pot I am adding 1 jar of Alfredo sauce. This is a 14-ounce jar. Maybe mine's a 15, somewhere in there. 15-ounce jar of Alfredo sauce. And I use a little bit of pasta water to kind of thin that out, or get what's left in the jar out. And then I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. And I'm just going to mix that until it's all nice and blended and smooth. And the recipe is a little bit different of an order, but I wanted to make sure that taco seasoning got nice and smoothed out in that Alfredo sauce. So that's why I did it that way. Then I'm adding in a can of drained and rinsed black beans and a can of drained corn. And then we're going to go ahead and add in that pepper and diced green chili mixture, and just give that all a good stir. Then we're adding in the drained pasta to that, and again, I'm just stirring this to get all that pasta nice and coated. And you're going to need 2 cups of chicken that is shredded. So whatever way you like to cook your chicken, your shredded chicken. I'm using a rotisserie chicken, just keeping it nice and quick and easy for me this week. And I'm just going to go ahead and add that in, stir it all together. The recipe did not call for cheese, but I had some of this extra sharp, and I really felt like it just needed something, and this is exactly what it needed. Cheese, not too much cheese, but just like enough, maybe it was a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup max and just so you can see that there, it's not too overly cheesy, but it really added something, and it definitely added some extra flavor, and it just really helped that. And this was a quick but very delicious meal. We both really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss out on any future What's for Dinner videos, and I hope you all are having an amazing week.